swell night, isn't it? Look at that moon.
Oh, it sure is.
You're a funny kid.
Why?
I don't know. Things you say.
I'm glad you came along.
Why?
You seem kind of different from all the West somehow. I know you think I'm crazy.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please stand for the presentation of the colors by the NC State Army ROTC, and remain standing for the singing of our national anthem by Aryan Mobashir, class of 2018 and two-time NC State Performing Artist Awardee.
Present. Colors. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Order. Colors. Mark time. March. Right turn. March. Forward. March. Palm right. March. Palm right. March. Palm left. March. Palm right. March.
Please be seated. Good afternoon. Welcome to a very special day at NC State. Today, we reopen our beautiful Memorial Belltower after an extraordinary transformation, and we dedicate the surrounding site as Henry Square. We're here to celebrate, ring our 55-bell carillon for the first time, and express our gratitude to everyone who has contributed to this tower, especially our most honored family, the Henry family. Bill and Frances Henry's gift to the university's Think and Do the Extraordinary campaign ensured that a long-awaited completion and restoration project could take place. I'm a student here at NC State, and in a parallel life, my name is Commander Michelle Parkington. I'm thrilled to be part of this today. After graduating from Virginia Tech in 2000 with a bachelor's degree in marketing management, I received a Navy commission following officer candidate school and entered flight training. I earned my Navy Wings of Gold after completing advanced helicopter pilot flight training and joined the U.S. Navy's Black Knights. After several deployments, I transitioned to the Naval Reserve in 2009 and returned to Virginia Tech for another bachelor's degree, this one in psychology. I remember crossing that drill field on my way to class, listening to my alma mater's bell tower play out Michelle My Belle by the Beatles. Can we get that on this playlist? Following graduation, I was recalled to active duty for a tour in Afghanistan. I am now, again, a naval reservist. I am also currently the commanding officer of Naval Air Station Sigonella, Detachment 0192 in Sicily, Italy, and a doctoral candidate here at NC State in comparative biomedical sciences, focus neuroscience, at the College of Veterinary Medicine. I study under the direction of Dr. Santos Mishra and co-chaired Dr. Duncan LaSalle's. I am really proud to represent the thousands of military and veteran students and their families that have walked this campus. The Henry's generosity marked the latest chapter in the Memorial Belltower's amazing story. It's a century in the making. The first chapter began in October 1918 in the Alumni News. For a few years, stories about academics, sports, campus changes had intermingled there with headlines, letters, and death notices related to the Great War, which we know as World War I. That month, a letter to the editor from 1907 alumnus Vance Sykes suggested that the college surely should do something to honor alumni like Frank Thompson, who had made the ultimate sacrifice for freedom in that war. Interest in the idea grew quickly. By January 1920, an official memorial committee was in place to direct the project. Their names are listed on a stone on the southeast corner of the tower. The committee was chaired by Carroll L. Mann Sr. Mann, an 1899 alumnus, was a longtime faculty member in civil engineering. Mann Hall is named in his honor. By March 1920, the committee was hiring a New York City architect, William Henry Deasy, who worked on a Reynolds family memorial in Winston-Salem and had impressed them. A couple months later, the committee had given its most hearty approval for one of the two suggested designs for a clock tower and chimes. They chose a prominent site on a small hill at the entrance of a much smaller campus near the university's first building, Holiday Hall. The tower was designed as reminiscent of West Point and similar to structures, including one at Iowa State. Features like stone eagles, Roman torches, mark its classical style as a war memorial. I feel the tower is going to be one of the most distinctive memorials in the South, and one that will mean a great deal to all who are connected with it, the architect wrote. The list of fallen alumni to be honored inside the shrine room at the tower's base included 34 men. Most of them were in their 20s. Most were from North Carolina. Many had been killed in action in France. Others died during other battles, in training accidents, or from illnesses contracted during their service. One was the grandson of the university's first chancellor. Shortly before the memorial plaque bearing their names was installed, a 35th man was discovered to have been included in error. He survived the war. The plaque was altered, with that name changed to serve as a symbol of unknown soldiers who had been lost. These names remind us of sacrifice, duty, honor, and commitment of all of those who have served and those serving in our nation's military now. In November 1921, 800 of our students in a regimental military parade formation took part in a ceremony to dedicate the Memorial Belltower's cornerstone. The military tradition at NC State has remained vibrant in the decades since. The bell tower has been the site of ceremonies marking Memorial Day, Veterans Day, Pearl Harbor Day, and other military observances. The university maintains strong ROTC programs affiliated with the U.S. Army, Navy, and Air Force. It's well known for producing generals and flag officers. Graduating cadets received their officer's commission here at the bell tower. It's an exciting day for them. NC State's military and veteran services opened in 2016 as part of the Division of Academic and Student Affairs. It supports almost 800 self-identified students in the student body, self-identified veterans in the student body, like me, and almost 1,600 self-identified military dependents. On this day, and always, let all of us remember why this is the Memorial Belltower. It's now my great honor to introduce the 14th Chancellor of NC State, Chancellor Randy Whitson.
Thank you, Commander Parkington. And we're glad you finally found NC State after all those years in the mountains of Virginia. Good afternoon. Boy, isn't it great to be together? We're thrilled to see you all here. You know, if you look closely at the bell tower, and I know you all have, you can see variations in the stone at different heights. That's because while the vision for the tower was grand and ambitious, the leaders of the effort were definitely passionate. Times were turbulent and rather difficult. Fundraising proved challenging. Don't we know about that? And our tower had to be built in stops and starts. In 2000, that would have been grand. In 1919, after all this institution had only been open for 30 years, and we had a global flu pandemic. Sounds familiar. The Memorial Committee members couldn't have known at that time the university, when it dedicated this bell tower to our World War I dead, that the country would have to survive a Great Depression and another World War. Several members of the original committee, in fact, did not live to see the stonework completed. At first, in the early 1920s, momentum was strong. A tattered ledger book housed in our library's special collections contains painstaking accounting of gifts and pledges. Most alumni across the country and across our state had given around $10 to the effort, but work stalled in 1926, with less than half of the tower's 115-foot height completed. The structure remained open to the elements with rain pouring in. As the Great Depression worsened and decimated the economy, Professor Mann lamented one day, just one good crop. He was a civil engineer, but he talked like an ag guy. Just one good crop could put this over the top and bring in the tens of thousands of dollars needed to finish the bell tower. The Memorial Committee promoted a competitive spirit between graduating classes and counties across the state to raise the money. And as the team dropped a few smaller parts of the plan, including the original intention for glass-faced clocks to cut costs, they remained determined. They were content to wait rather than change the plan one iota. And finally, good news arrived in 1935. The bell tower was chosen as one of our nation's campus projects from the New Deal Federal Relief Program. The Works Progress Administration assigned crews and resources and completed the stonework in 1937. As attention turned to completing the interior of the shrine room and adding a musical component, the committee chair and the architect typed letters back and forth. And for some 30 years, they typed letters back and forth. And these letters expressed frustration because of the stalled funding of the project. The letters also reflected honor and hope and commitment and strength, just like this tower. Students donated their athletic tickets to raise money. Imagine that today. Honor societies and graduating classes gave gifts such as the floodlights. And on November 11th, 1949, a dedication ceremony like we're having today focused on the shrine room with its marble walls and bronze door. The bell tower was declared finally paid for and complete. Well, not quite. As always, our university community had preserved through difficult times, and one major compromise had been made, however.
Thank you, Chancellor Woodson. Yes, the late 1940s marked an end of the beginning for our bell tower's story. 2 years before the shrine room was dedicated in 1949, a dedicatory concert took place here. Professor Arthur L. Bigelow, bellmaster of Princeton University, visited to play a brand new electronic carillon located inside Holiday Hall, just over there. Underground wiring connected this instrument to speakers up in the tower's open belfry. And this was the one big compromise in the original construction of the bell tower. Hi, my name is Michael Gardo, and I'm a rising senior here at NC State. I'm majoring in electrical engineering, and I also am pursuing a minor in piano performance. I also work over at the Craft Center, right over there, as a kiln attendant. I began playing piano in the first grade, and I've been playing ever since. I started out my training classically, but since then I've expanded to perform several genres, including classical, rock, funk, and jazz. I've taken 5 semesters of piano with Dr. Olga Klankina here at NC State, and I absolutely love learning from her and being a part of our dynamic music department. So a true carillon includes real bells. It's a cousin of a piano and an organ. The bells are connected to an organ-style double keyboard through a web of crisscrossing mechanical crank wires, levers, turnbuckles, and springs. The bells themselves don't actually move. They're played by striking keys, batons, and foot pedals on a wooden console that in turn make clappers strike the bells. The earliest plans for our Memorial Belltower included installation of a chime, which is previously mentioned, and that's kind of like a carillon, but it's less than 23 bells. But alumni soon dreamed of an instrument larger than the ones at other area colleges. The Memorial Committee investigated, but finally decided that installing the bells was simply beyond financial reach. Over the years, many people never realized that our tower lacked real bells. After all, pre-recorded Westminster chimes marked each hour. And for decades, students enrolled in different majors made their way to a small room on the lowest level of Holiday Hall. They shared their musical talents on an instrument that looked like a piano, played like an organ, and sent bell sounds through speakers across campus. The system was replaced twice, and Ralph Daniel, electrical engineering, class of 1964, is believed to be the only person who's played all 3. On a student's budget, which I totally relate to, Mr. Daniel would sometimes visit a local record store to listen to an LP and then quickly write down what he had heard so he could play it on the carillon. Mr. Daniel's most memorable moment as a carillonneur came in 1963, after President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. And I quote, "The daily noon recitals were suspended during the time of national grieving. Someone called the music department and suggested that we should toll the bells for him on the day of his funeral. At noon, I was in the chimes room doing just that when I heard something outside the Holiday Hall window. Without any previous coordination between us, an honor guard from the Pershing Rifles was slowly marching toward the door, playing their drums muffled in black cloth. It was all I could do to keep my composure until the tolling was finished." End quote. For years, other students carefully wrote down the dates and songs and pieces they had played in a small notebook by the keyboard. Pieces performed often included Battle Hymn of the Republic, For Elise, and Edelweiss. Occasionally, they'd play pop songs of the era, such as Bridge Over Troubled Water, Eleanor Rigby, or Killing Me Softly. Mary Jo Press, who's sitting right there, I met her, she's an amazing person, who graduated in 1986, did not attend her ceremony at the Reynolds Coliseum. She was at the electric carillon, making sure that everyone lining up for commencement had music to enjoy. After graduation, Miss Press would travel from her job at Research Triangle Park to play for special events when a student carillonneur was not available. She penned the final entry in the Carillon book's main run, March 7th, 1989. And as I mentioned earlier, Ms. Press is in attendance today, along with 3 other former student carillonneurs, Jennifer Barker, Lenny Collins, and Lucy Ringland. Let's all give them a round of applause for making it here today. Many other alumni players, including Mr. Daniel, who lives in Georgia, are watching on our live stream. Thank you all for sharing your love of music and for passing the musical torch to a new generation. We're so excited to have this amazing instrument on campus, and I can hardly wait to find out what songs will be played here next. The carillon we debut today is the largest in North Carolina and among the larger ones in the whole nation. Last summer, we literally raised the roof so our 18 largest bells could be lifted from up above. The remaining 37 bells were carried up the new interior stairs to find their places in the belfry's big steel frame. I actually walked up those stairs just a few days ago, and it was tiring, and I wasn't carrying a bell. So props to the guys that did that. Electronic operation from Holiday Hall will still remain possible, but our new wooden console is located in the new playing cabin built just below the open belfry at clock level. Tom Gurin, carillonneur at Duke University Chapel and visiting carillonneur at nearby Holy Name of Jesus Cathedral, is there right now. After this ceremony, he'll welcome our carillon to the Triangle with an inaugural performance. The wait is over. Today, officially, our Memorial Belltower will no longer be a bell tower in name only. Thank you.
The bell tower spotlight that started with the committee so long ago started to shine again around 2009. Student Matt Robbins began a campaign to finish the bell tower after realizing one day while walking down Hillsborough Street that the belfry had no bells. It was like seeing a ring with a beautiful setting and no stone, or a lighthouse with no light, Robbins recalled. He began exhaustive research. He drew others into his effort to educate about the tower's background and complete a legacy and set history straight. The class of 2010 raised $56,000 to buy the largest bell in the carillon, which weighs in the neighborhood of 2,000 pounds. The Farrington, Gardner, Morris, Spat, and Thompson families, along with the marching cadets, also donated bells. The Freemasons, who played an instrumental role in the tower's original construction, remain supporters. And our Forever Club, those graduates of over 50 years ago, contributed, as did many alumni and military groups. Dozens of alumni and friends have given to what now is the Forever Bell Tower Fund to complete and care for the tower. And we're glad to have many of these folks joining us today in person or virtually in our live feed. So thank you all to everyone that has helped to make this day a reality. Yeah. Meanwhile, in 2008, Dr. Tom Stafford, our retired Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs, began giving bell tower tours. He's led over 600, each serving as a history lesson, NC State pep rally, and Wizard of Oz style peek behind the curtain. In fact, over the last few days, I can't look out my office without seeing Tom Stafford stalking students as they come up to get their photographs taken at the bell tower, going up to them and say, hey, you want to see the shrine room? It's just a little creepy, but it's really nice. So finally, in late 2017, another extraordinary moment in the bell tower story took place. As you know, we're in the midst of the most ambitious fundraising effort in our institution's rich history. Thanks to more than 100,000 donors, the Think and Do the Extraordinary campaign is having a transformational impact across this great campus. From over 100 new endowed professors to over 800 new scholarship funds and fellowships, to the Fitz Woolard Hall of Engineering and the Plant Sciences Building, and so much more across our campus. Bill and Frances Henry, who have supported other efforts at NC State, including need-based scholarships, took a tour with Dr. Stafford one day of the bell tower, and they embraced the idea of the transformation needed to finish the bell tower. Their incredible gift, combined with so many others, made possible a $6.5 million completion and renovation. You know, the Henrys are a true Wolfpack family. Bill is observing the 40th anniversary of his graduation from NC State, and his two brothers graduated from this great university as well. One son joins us as an alumnus, William, tomorrow, or tonight, I think, from computer science. We promised Bill, when he made this commitment, we will finish this bell tower before William graduates. And I may have had to slow it down just a little bit. That is William's graduation. No, I didn't. I didn't do a thing. He graduated on time, and we completed the bell tower on time. His another son, Charles, who's with us today, just completed his first year at NC State. And the Henry's gift represents a culmination of a collaborative effort to ensure that the bell tower stands strong for generations to come. It's a great example of the impact of our growing culture of philanthropy at NC State. So please join me again in thanking the Henrys for their transformative gift. You know, it's been really cool to watch. Every day I would drive into the parking lot and see the progress in the bell tower, and the construction crew would, Eddie back there would tap his watch and say, Chancellor, you're a little late this morning. And when I would leave, if I left early, Chancellor, where are you going? Day's not over. So I appreciate you keeping track of me too. But you know, the people that worked on this project took a great deal of care and a lot of pride in making sure that this was completed. I also want to thank the NC State landscape crew for getting everything looking so nice for our graduates so they could enjoy the bell tower before commencement. So not only did the project add bells, but it corrected years of water damage, especially to the shrine room. The marble there, including the memorial plaque, has been beautifully restored, and it was not a pretty sight when we started. We've also added another honored name to the wall. After we learned that alumnus Sumney Krause Cornwell died from flu contracted while in the war, we added his name to the list of those that we honor. Workers also installed interior stairs. You've heard about them. I've walked up them. I didn't carry anything. I barely made it. But I understand that at least one electrician working on the project lost 40 pounds during the construction because going up and down every day. This thing is actually air conditioned now. And it's air conditioned by geothermal wells. We have 5 of them buried beneath these grounds. A new bell tower committee and our facilities division work closely with our outstanding partners in Walter Robbs Architect, New Atlantic Contracting, B.A. Sutherland Bell Foundry, and many subcontractors and outstanding craftspeople. Throughout the process, this team took painstaking care to retain the site's historic integrity. And in February of 1924, in a letter from 1924, original architect William Henry Deasy reminded his partners at the university to remember, you're building this memorial for all time. And that's what we've done. We've restored this memorial for all time. And how fitting it is that Bill Henry helped bring Bill Henry Deasy's vision to life some 100 years later. And we're so grateful to the Henry family and to everyone that's contributed to this Memorial Bell Tower. This is an extraordinary day for the entire Wolfpack and something that I hope you're as proud of as we are. And if you can finally put bells in the belfry while taking precautions during a pandemic, imagine what else we can do together. Now, it's my honor to formally accept and dedicate this 55, bigger than Dukes, 55 bell carillon on behalf of NC State. We're grateful for everyone who's brought us to this moment, your commitment, your care, your hard work, and yes, your generosity. We celebrate the past, the present, the future through this Memorial Bell Tower, and it's a part of this great university and will be well into the future. Each of our bells has a distinctive sound, and if you listen carefully to the depth of each note, you might hear important messages. The voice of the bells remind us that we're one Wolfpack, joining in times of joy and, as you've heard, in times of sorrow. They toll for the lost, and they sing in celebration. They call us together, and I dare say they call us to think and do the extraordinary. May their sound be appreciated for decades and centuries to come. So let the bells ring. As Commander Parkington so eloquently reminded us, this tower was originally built to memorialize NC State alumni who died in the war to end all wars, which it didn't. But we honor their service. Those men, however, never had real bells tolled for them. And I'd like for all of us to take a few minutes to honor them in that way. As their names are read, I ask you to think about each of them and their sacrifice. I also encourage you to reflect on how each of us might be able to serve the greater good of this moment, how we can together make this a better university and a better world.
James Henry Bauman. John Kingsley Culbertson. Gaston Louis Dortch. Joshua Barnes Farmer, Jr. David Swain Grant. Thurman M. Gregory. John Wesley Griffith, Jr. George Rom Hardesty. John Quincy Jackson. Austin Jensen. Grover Alfonso Jordan. Hugh O'Keefe Kendrick.
Arthur Templeton Kenyon. Douglas Hamilton Knox, Jr. Alman Kemp Lincoln. John C.S. Lumsden, Jr. John Elvis Lynch. George Baldwin McCoy. Wade Hampton Miller. Charles Milton Morris. Alexander Holliday Pickle. James Edwin Scott. George Fletcher Sedbury. William Thomas Shaw, Jr.
Oren Moreau Sigmund. Basil S. Snowden. Charles Augustine Spees. James Jeffries Sykes. Frank Martin Thompson. Robert Hurst Turner. Ernest Leroy Twine. Robert Clay Wyatt. James Thaddeus Weatherly. Guy Jennings Winstead. Summy Crows Cornwell. George E. Jefferson, standing for the unknown. Thank you. First of all, hello. Many of you don't know me, and that's okay. I'm going to introduce myself. First of all, it is an honor to be here representing the class of 2021 at this ceremony. I am especially excited as my family actually joins me today in celebration of NC State and the generations that came before us. Quite literally, as I'm the second one to graduate from NC State. To tell you a little bit about myself, my name is Carmen, and I'm a senior in biochemistry, ready to graduate tomorrow and begin pursuing a career as a physician's assistant. I'm very excited to change my student status to alumna very soon, although I will miss the student section at all the games. During my 4 years at NC State, I have proudly served as a first-year mentor and senior ambassador within the Goodnight Scholars Program, as well as a chancellor's aide. I was involved in undergraduate research and traveled to different countries through the extensive study abroad program. I still cannot read a map, but I always know to find my way home. NC State has taught me so much, both in my academic classes, but also about being true to myself and pushing myself to learn more. Learn more about who I am and what boundaries are actually there. Those are the lessons you don't just learn from a textbook, but you get them from a supportive community. Originally, I'm from King. It's a small town in North Carolina foothills. My mom is actually an immigrant from El Salvador. My father is from Puerto Rico. But he's got a little German and Cuban mixed in. It's just for the flavor, you know. We are a family of resilient risk takers, and NC State was a home away from home for me as I found my people here. Here, like so many other students before me, I found a genuine, beautiful community of friends and mentors and of people from so many different places and backgrounds. It has been so exciting for all of us to see the fences come down from around the bell tower as we begin to pass through a challenging time and look towards the future, just like everyone who originally envisioned the tower. The Memorial Belltower has become the most recognized, stately, dramatic, and enduring symbol of our university. It's not just 1,400 tons of granite on a 700-ton concrete base on a campus full of bricks. It's a truly hallowed place. The bell tower adorns the university seal and stands as an impressive gateway to North Campus. Over the years, its upper plinth, lower plaza, and the lawn have become the setting for countless photos of student government leaders and homecoming queens. If you were to walk by here any day in April or May, you'll see students preparing to graduate but taking photos here in their caps and gowns. If you were here 2 weeks ago, you would have seen me climbing the steps for the last time as an undergraduate student. I did not cry, but I wanted to. Sometimes there are different photo sessions happening on every side of the bell tower simultaneously. We had to learn to share, but there's 4 sides, so. Every now and then, of course, Dr. Stafford drops by to let us peek inside the shrine room, a coveted tradition everyone hopes to have during their photo shoots. Chancellor, you have the other way around. We stalk him all the time. The Memorial Belltower has become a place of reflection and celebration, a place of remembrance, but also for making new memories. Many of you might have made your own memories here yourselves. A shared memory among many students and alumni comes from placing your class ring inside the bell tower overnight, therefore connecting your ring to the alumni and to the spirit of the Wolfpack itself. On any given day, you could see students studying under the trees here. You could even catch a glimpse of a wedding proposal. A small crew of maintenance staff, turf specialists, and project managers proudly tend to the bell tower as a labor of love, making sure it's ready for its year-round close-up. The tower is built as a beacon for a very different NC State, but it endures and evolves through challenges and changes, just like our community. This is a special place. It is a monument to everything NC State has been and everything we will be. In the fall, we'll actually put a time capsule inside to commemorate this unique time when the tower was completed, a full 100 years after the cornerstone was laid. This weekend, we're going to get another tradition going. The tradition of lighting the Memorial Bell Tower red to mark NC State's biggest occasions and achievements. The tower has remained dark for more than 600 days, ever since the construction began right after the Packapalooza Festival in August of 2019. Tonight and tomorrow, just after 8 p.m. as the dusk falls, we're going to light it red again in order of our graduates. This time there will be white lights too to highlight the new bells. I cannot wait to see it. Every time the bell tower lights up, it's always a time for celebration. This beautiful space is where all generations of the Wolfpack family come together. And from today forward, this gathering place will have a new name, the Memorial Bell Tower at Henry Square. I think that's got a nice ring to it. It has been my pleasure to speak to you all today, and I hope you share in my excitement for this dedication and what it means for the NC State community. Whether you are a Wolfpack alumni, fan, or even if you were just lucky enough to get married in, we all bleed red. We are the change we will see in our communities, and we are all so proud of what it means to be a part of the Wolfpack. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to welcome the Honorable Mary Ann Baldwin, Mayor of Raleigh.
Wow. Awesome. I get to follow you. My luck today. What can I say? Chancellor Woodson, Henry family, honored guest. This is a big day. I actually got to put on makeup, heels, and I changed out of my yoga pants just so I could be here in some Wolfpack red. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. It's been that kind of year. But I do want to thank you for inviting me to share this celebration with you. I'm honored to be here representing the Raleigh City Council in our broader community. This Memorial Bell Tower is a beacon for our community, just like this university is. We're proud of everything that NC State means to the people here and to the people across our state and our nation. You know, you might recall that just 2 weeks ago, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, Mayor Pete to me still, and the second gentleman chose Raleigh for their first stop on their Back on Track tour. They visited with union workers. They toured NC State's Centennial campus, and they closed their visit at Raleigh Union Station. I want to tell you something. NC State, you wowed them. They talked about the impact NC State has on innovation and entrepreneurship, on our economy, on our talent pool. They talked about some of the things they had seen that they had never seen. And they said, you know what? You are doing this right. Your collaborators, you work together, the corporate community, the city, the state, the universities. This is how you do it. I'm going to say it again. They said NC State did it right. And I'll agree with that. NC State has proven to be a great neighbor, a great contributor to our community, and a great partner. I appreciate the work that you are doing on social justice issues with us, the city, on improving opportunities for some of our most vulnerable residents, ensuring that we maintain great town-gown relationships. Doing it right is all about partnerships and working together, and that's something for all of us to cherish. And finally, you've done it right by the bell tower. Making this happen after so many years, I know it happened with a lot of hard work by a lot of people, but I'm really excited. When I was invited to come, I said, I'll be there with bells on. Haha. Supposed to laugh just a little. But that's how I feel. There's really great sentiment. And what I'm really excited about, the students who are going to graduate this weekend, who will hear the bells toll in their honor, who will come here to celebrate the great achievement. To all you students, and man, you did a good job. Y'all did. You are our future. And this is a symbol to all of you for your hard work and all you'll do for our community. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here, Mayor Baldwin. We are grateful for the partnership with the city. Not everyone is steeped in the tradition of higher education, but I'll tell you, a lot of universities don't enjoy great town-gown relations. Universities sometimes can be difficult partners, but we really have a great partnership with the city of Raleigh, and we're very grateful for it. You know, the Memorial Belltower's extraordinary story is a century in the making, as we've heard today. It's a story about people, and we all look forward to seeing the next chapters of that story at NC State as they get written. You know, in just a minute, I'll invite the Henry family, Bill Henry and his family, to join me at the south end of the plaza to cut the ribbon for Henry Square. And I invite everyone in the audience to direct their attention this way. It's okay to move a little bit if you're not in the best viewing position, so please feel free to move over to this side. And after we dedicate and cut the ribbon, I invite you to begin moving toward the lawn in front of Holiday Hall, in front of Winslow Hall, I'm sorry, for refreshments and actually a better listening, a better sound from the bell tower for our inaugural carillon performance. And I understand you probably won't want to be right under the bell tower, so make your way over to in front of Winslow Hall. We're so glad that you could all be with us today. This is a big day for NC State. It's something we've been looking forward to for 100 years. And we're so grateful to the Henry family and so many others that have made this a reality. So if I could ask the Henry family to join me at the south end, we'll light this thing.
And I'm a junior English major here at NC State.
Hello, and I'm Tom Stafford, retired Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs.
And today we're going to be doing a walking tour talking about the newly renovated bell tower.
My favorite place on campus. Let's go.
Let's go. So, as someone who's given over 600 tours of the bell tower, what is it like to finally see it finished?
Oh, it's incredible. You know, we've done lots of great renovations of other buildings around campus. You know, Tally Student at the Union, Reynolds Coliseum, Thompson Theater Hall. And the bell tower, during all that time, the bell tower has stood there waiting for its opportunity to be renovated.
So I understand students used to be able to play the carillon from here in Holiday Hall.
Now, the room they played from is right there, just the one to the left. And that window right there is on the outside of a small room in which the carillon was located. And you're right, students from NC State would go into that room every afternoon at 5 o'clock and play anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes of music. And when they did that, they recorded every song they played in a small notebook that I showed to folks when I take my tour group into that room. It's a really cool spot.
So as we're approaching it, already the exterior looks pretty different. So what all has changed out here?
Well, the main change on the exterior is the fact that they cleaned and repaired the outside. So the outside, the granite is very beautiful right now and very clean looking. They have also, the other thing that's different is that up in the top, in the belfry, the 55 bells have been placed up there. And so when you stand back from the tower and you look up at the tower, you can see those bells.
They look massive. So what was the process of getting those up there?
Well, the largest bell was about this tall. I think it weighed close to 2,000 pounds. Anyway, it was a very large bell. And they took it up one bell at a time, and they would lift it up and then over and then down into the belfry. And before they did that, they had to remove the top of the bell tower. I mean, it was amazing to watch them do that. And then once all the bells had been placed inside, they put the roof back on top of the bell tower. It was pretty incredible.
So you mentioned the name Henry. What's the significance of the name Henry Square?
Well, that is a very important part of this restoration project. And it's the main reason that we were able to do so. As we approach the incline that leads us up around the plinth, you will see in the granite it says Henry Square. And that is the name that the university decided to put on the area around the bell tower in honor of Bill and Frances Henry and their generous gift that enabled us to do all the renovations.
So how has the bell tower been modernized while still preserving its historical integrity?
When you look at the bell tower now, you know, it looks pretty much like it did before, with the exception of the bells in the top and the incline that leads people up to the plinth, people who have mobility impaired. And that was a very important addition to the project.
So I think the first thing everyone thinks of when they think about the bell tower is it lighting up red for sporting wins and special occasions. So when will we be able to light up the bell tower again?
Well, we can do it right now, but we're not going to do it until after the dedication.
Okay.
And so after that, the process that we'd used before, you know, when a faculty member or a student achieves something really, really significant, you know, at a national level or whatever, or if we win an athletic contest in certain categories, then the tower will be lit red.
Do you have a favorite renovation to the bell tower?
Well, I like all of it, but my favorite part has to be the shrine room.
Can you show us the shrine room?
Well, I think I can, if you would like to take a look.
Of course I would like to take a look. I would be honored.
There you go. Put it in, turn it to the left, and then push hard. Good job. Let's turn a few lights on. And as I said earlier, this is a military monument. It remembers and honors the NC State alumni who died while they were in military service during World War I. And the alumni put their fellow alumni names on this beautiful plaque. So, you know, this is a sacred place. That's one of the reasons why we let students bring their class rings into this room to spend the night. Because something very magical happens that night and that changes those rings. So that's another very, for me, a very important part of the bell tower and the shrine room.
Have you ever left a ring overnight in the bell tower?
You see that ring? Mm-hmm. That ring was given to me when I retired 9 years ago, and every time students come over and put their rings in, guess what happens to this ring?
Leave it?
I leave my ring in this room with all the student rings.
So that ring probably is all powerful.
it's got more Wolfpack spirit in it than any other ring you're going to find anywhere. Now,
Thank you.